Boomer tech. Oh, let's try that again. Hello and welcome to everybody. It's that time here in YouTube land. Hold on for a second. Oh, and there we go. Hey, that looks better. Um, it's the Gold Goats and Guns Hour. I'm Tom Luongo. It's December 14th. It's Tuesday. Working way too hard, all that kind of stuff. Hey, here we are. And we're gonna do this on YouTube for about 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to pop over to Odysee and we're going to finish up the stream on Odysee. I've already got the thing in process. That's why I was a couple of minutes late getting started tonight. I wanted to make sure that I had the live stream working and in process and ready to go, and it looks like it actually already is. So wow, they must be getting Johnny on the spot with that, so that's much better. The past, like, confirmation to get the transaction confirmed over on Odysee took 5, 10, 15 minutes. So like, whatever, we didn't want to deal with that. So how is everybody? I hope you all had a great week. Whatever. At this point, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a little pissed off at Odysee. And the other reason I'm late tonight is because, well, I had to send them a nasty gram because about 2 or 3 weeks ago, everything was going great. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to move over to Odysee and I'll actually start to monetize the streams. We'll start making some money. And, I'm thinking, hey, half a credit per view, 0.6 credits per view. That would be great, right? 2-3 cents per person, a couple of thousand people. Every stream's worth maybe 85 to $100. Seems reasonable. I don't know. Seems reasonable to me, right? Make a couple hundred, even, whatever. Come to find out, after about a couple of weeks of this, one night I go to bed. I didn't say anything for a little while because maybe there was something going on. I was, it's fine. I know they reserve the right to say you're getting too much of the reward pool or whatever. So one night I go to bed and I check in the next morning and my account balance is exactly the same. I'm like, all right. And I note that, rewards on my account had been suspended for like 8 hours. And then eventually it updated and the reward had been cut nearly in half, from a little over 0.6 credits per view to just over 3.3. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I was getting too much of the reward pool or whatever. They have a reason for this, fine. But since then, if anybody hasn't noticed, my channel has been squelched down to 0.07 credits per view. Now that's horse shit. Like, the whole purpose of going over to Odysee was to actually monetize the channel, be censorship proof, and all the rest of it. And I'm not getting any credits for you guys watching the stream. Like, the more you guys watch, the less I get. And it's not like, you get 2,000 views on a video on Odysee, and that's just too many views and they got to cut you down. I see other people like the Duran, they're getting, 2,000 views on their videos over there, or 1,000 views, and they're making 150, 200 credits per video, and that seems reasonable. Last week's stream, 53. I'm like, dude, I ain't doing this for $2. Like, fuck you. So I had to send them an Instagram and go, hey guys, why are you punishing me for my success? What have I done wrong? I thought the whole purpose of this was to bring our YouTube audiences over to an alternative platform that we could monetize. But that was the point. I brought viewership. But you've now squelched my reward pool to the point where it's not worth me doing it. What's the problem? So this was the same thing that happened with Brave when I first started, when I was doing the Brave referral thing. And, I went from, getting a couple of referrals a day to whatever. And then I got a couple articles on Zero Hedge where I said, hey, check out the Brave browser if you want to, fuck Google in the ass. And you get an article on Zero Hedge that does 250,000 hits and 2,000 people click on the fucking thing and you get the referral fees. They were like, what's going on here? Are you botting? I'm like, no, I got an article on Zero Hedge, for Christ's sake, like the 35th most trafficked fucking website in the world. I'm bringing you people. Fuck you. I want my money. It's crazy. So no, eventually, once I explained it to them, I'm like, oh no, by the way, I'm not a bot. I'm just really good at what I do. I'm just good at marketing. And then I got paid, all of them. And I got paid a lot of Brave referral fees. And I brought a lot of people to the platform. And I probably was the person who was most responsible for them shutting the program down eventually. Because I just... like, it's annoying. I mean, it's not that Odysee is out and YouTube is in. I'm trying to figure out what they did, right? So I'm going to give them the opportunity to rectify the situation because obviously they have a negative multiplier applied to my account, and I think they've way overdone it. And if they come back and say, well, you said nasty things about the Jews on your channel, and you don't get no soup for you, I'll be like, well, fuck you. I'm not going to use your channel anymore. It's that simple. Like, the whole purpose of this is a censorship here. Like, that's the whole point. Oh, so you won't take my shit down, but I'm not allowed to make any money? Oh, fine. Now I have to beg you all for super chats, which they'll take 35% of. You fucking people, like, if they're going to play this fucking game and they're going to be no better than YouTube, like, fuck them. I'll go find somebody else to stream on. I don't give a shit. Like, it's just not worth it to play this fucking game. It's just not worth it. So, throw Cow at them. Cow's a pussy. All right. Well, to remind everybody, one more time into the breach this evening, we're going to do what we've done the last couple of weeks. I'm going to sit here in Chatterbox for a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about a variety of things. The things I want to talk about tonight are going to be like stuff like the Federal Reserve. We're on the eve of the FOMC meeting for the month, right? That is tomorrow, right? And everybody's out there screaming policy statement, policy mistake, and everything else. And I don't think that's the case at all. So, everybody's screaming policy mistake from the Fed that they're going to raise rates and yada, yada, yada. It's funny. And people have a lot of opinions about what's going to happen next. And I'm telling you right now that 95% of the people you're listening to are wrong. They don't know what's going on. And if they did have any idea what was going on, if they had anything other than a domestic focus, then, as Martin Armstrong's been banging on his shoe on the table like Khrushchev for years, like, you got to look at the world. You can't just look at what you think is going on in the United States and think that because the United States has a fiscal problem that, the dollar is going to be, is toast. It's like, it's stupid. Like, you're just a stopped clock and you're not willing to do any real analysis. So. No, fuck DLive too. They're just as fucking bad. I've already tried the DLive thing. As a matter of fact, this thing still goes out simulcast on DLive. Good luck chatting over there. They didn't like the chat that was going on in our stream on DLive, and they cut me off. I told them to go fuck themselves. So it's still running, but you can go watch it over there. But whatever, the shit's not converted. All their magic beans aren't convertible into real money either. So fuck them. It's all dumb. Like, at the end of the day, really, if you guys want to support the stream, I don't sit here and pimp it. I don't sit here and make a big deal out of it. But you guys want to support what I do and you want to support the stream, you can always PayPal me. You can always, send a crypto donation. You can always, tip me on Brave or whatever. You can go to Gold Goats and Guns. You can tip me on Brave. You can tip me on my YouTube channel right here in the channel. It's right. Go up to the little Brave icon and throw some bat my way. I'll be happy to take them. If you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, but the best way to really support what I do and get the most out of what I do is to sign up on Patreon. The patrons get so much private material, it's not funny. They get 2 market reports a week. They get 2 to 3 morning munchings, which are private blog posts, which you don't get in public. You guys that are regulars on the stream that are not patrons, you're actually missing out. You're actually missing out on a lot. You're actually missing out on like 2/3 of what I actually do. And so, and I'm sorry, but, for the level of service that I provide, that Dexter and I provide for people, $12 a month for the newsletter is fucking nothing. The best $12 you ever spend. There you go. There's the pitch, and I don't know, insult your audience and get them to sign up for your Patreon. I don't know. The link's down below. You can guys do whatever your conscience tells you to do. And for those of you who are so satisfied that you want to give more than $12 a month, you can always up your pledge, You don't have to just give 12 or 4. You can give more within the tier. So there you go. All right. So there we go. So what are we at? Have I filibustered enough without talking about anything important? I don't know yet. So, little note. I don't think the Fed's making a policy mistake by killing off QE and raising interest rates. I saw a tweet this afternoon, or just before I got live, scrolling through my Twitter feed, and I'm like, the guy said, everybody's screaming that the Fed's making a policy mistake by raising rates or by ending QE and raising rates. The policy mistake was sending them to zero in the first place and doing QE. So reversing that is not a bad idea, or whatever the hell he said. It was grand. I'm like, yeah. That's the reality. And the truth of the matter is that, once everybody finally gets it through their thick fucking skulls that this is just unsustainable and we can't avoid a recession, because look, the recession's already here. We just refuse to define it that way because we define GDP we use GDP as the marker for whether or not we're in a recession or not. And GDP is just gross national spending. But we're spending money on shit that we don't need at prices that are, and we're aggregating the amount of spending in nominal dollars, which are inflating. And the goods that we're buying are inflating in price as well. So that's not GDP growth. That's not wealth growth. That's not real goods growth. That's actually, we're already in a recession. Real wealth is being destroyed while nominal GDP goes up. If you don't let the market clear, if you don't let the malinvested capital, be liquidated and reorganized, then you don't have a recovery. What you have is a bunch of bullshit and numbers that look like a recovery and that you can sell on your fucking capped media. But it's not reality. Brett Harris says, well, it's $17 over in Australia. It's going to get worse for you, Brett, by the way. I'm sorry to say. So I do appreciate you being a subscriber that way. So there it is. We won't be raising the price anytime soon. And I don't think I'm ever going to put out like a higher tier for people who want, private content. So, does Powell understand malinvestment? Anthony asks. Yeah, he does. He absolutely does. He understands what he has to do. But at the same time, I think Powell understands these things. But Powell's he's a Keynesian. They all are. Like, it's not a big deal. At the end of the day, the Keynesians are obsessed with demand. They don't care about the supply side of the equation until the supply side of the equation hits them over the fucking head like a sledgehammer, going, "Oh, by the way, supply matters." And they look into their demand mirror, and it goes, "Oh, by the way, and there's nobody staring back and there's no demand staring back in the mirror, and it's all supply shocks." And that's what we have now. And they don't have any tools for how to deal with supply shocks. All they know how to do is countercyclically stimulate a lull in aggregate demand. That's what they know how to do, and nothing more. I got to deal with that later. I know I just got a text from my partner. So, everybody has misconceptions because everybody's been mal-educated in how the economy works. And so these people are just so up their own ass about manipulating aggregate demand that when there's supply shocks, they don't know what to do. And they don't have the tools for this. And the tools for supply shocks are to lower taxes, lower spending, lower government spending, lower taxes, and unencumber the economy. At the same time, you'll have to raise interest rates a little bit. You may have to raise interest rates a lot depending on how bad things are. But if you want to be a good steward of the currency, then you have to prove to everybody that you're willing to set your benchmark rate somewhere near the the market level of risk within, based on the risk profile of the current state of the economy. And by setting rates at zero, you're saying there's no risk to your investment, which is nonsense. There it is. That's what I've got for you. Yeah. So that's part of what we're going to talk about tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine and France and the geopolitics and all that. And we should absolutely talk about all of that. And we'll talk about that when we get over to Odysee. So, start gearing up. Go get, refresher coffee. We're going to get into that soon. But this is the stub, and then we're going to move over to Odysee because there's absolutely no reason to continue doing this on YouTube. If they hate me as much as everybody else does. So I might as well just, continue to do what I'm doing. So, yeah. Are we good? 75 people. So tweet it out. Let everybody know. I'm moving over. I'll send out the tweet now, and I'll be back on in about 3 to 5 minutes. I've got a text I've got to reply to, and then a tweet to put out, and then I'll start the show. And I got to pick some music because over there I get to pick music I'm not allowed to pick on YouTube. Best part. So you guys take care. You be well. We'll talk soon. Thanks for tuning in. But fuck YouTube. All right.